Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to be talking about Eric Swalwell. And Eric Swalwell is the 24th Democrat primary candidate running in the primary to be the U.S. president, to go against Donald Trump in the general. Right? So this is truly incredible. It's really fascinating. So today we're going to talk about who is Eric Swalwell, what does he stand for, does he have a shot, right? So let's talk about it. All right, so before we even get into that, I want to just talk a little bit about this myriad of candidates, like this zombie pack of Democrat candidates. It's big. And honestly, the Democrats, they got a little bit of ribbing coming. They got a little bit of mockery coming. And the reason why is, boy, oh boy, the Republicans got a lot of laughs sent their way when they had 16 candidates. They were frequently called the circus. That was the most, Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon and, all the late night hosts would just like clown car jokes and, just like, it's out of control. There's too many. And boy, man, the Democrats, they're right there, man. It is an absolute myriad of candidates. It's a huge number. And it's really fascinating from a lot of reasons. One of the things that's most fascinating about it is, how do you secure this many? We already saw this with the Kamala Harris. It's pretty incredible, right? So, but you have 24 candidates now. That's where we're at. So let's talk about Eric Swalwell. Really fascinating candidate, and especially so he is a California congressperson. Okay, and in addition to that, his home is Iowa. Now, California, he's on the left, Democrat, nothing special about that. In fact, that's bog standard coastal elite template, right? But his home is Iowa. He was born in Iowa. That is useful, right? Because that's heartland, right? That is people who eat cheeseburgers and drive Ford F-150s, right? Like, that's what you need to win this election. Because it's no surprise, Democrats can win coastal elites. We already know that, right? But this election is going to be won by the Democrat who can deliver Democrat votes and heartland votes. People who are not expected to vote for Democrats. All right. So and Eric Swalwell is claiming that he can get there, right? But boy, oh boy, we're going to talk about that claim before we're done. All right, now. That's our Eric Swalwell, California congressperson who was born in Iowa. Okay, we got to talk about this. One more attribute: Eric Swalwell identified himself with 3 words, very important 3 words. Eric Swalwell said, "I am another white man." Woo, strong words, right? Basically. Eric Swalwell put a name to what everybody's been talking about for a long time. And the Democrats, to their credit, they have been building a strong brand of ally to people of color. And far more, actually broader than that, allies of intersectionality, right? So if you have had a source of struggle or woe in your life, right? The Democrats are saying we're there for you. Intersectionality matters, right? Kamala Harris is a high intersectionality candidate, right? Eric Swalwell, by saying I'm another white man, was owning what is swiftly becoming a very identified problem within the Democrat Party. It's being talked about openly that if the Democrats elect what Eric Swalwell calls another white man, they have rubber stamped the problem that exists, right? And so this is a problem for America, right? All Americans should own this problem. We had 42 people who Eric Swalwell could take that same tag that he applied to himself and apply it to those other presidents, another white man, right? So he's acknowledging that if he becomes president, he becomes the 43rd another white man that has been president, right? Those are his words, right? And so the Democrats overall, I have to really give them credit because they're saying, hey, we have allied ourselves to intersectionality. So if we elect a president that has no intersectionality, right, we're essentially part of the problem. And so Eric Swalwell has an entire plan to address the problem of who he identifies himself to be, another white man, right? And so he is saying that in order to do this, he will surround himself with a cadre of advisors who are not AWM, right? And they will give him advice from that perspective. Interesting. I think the most interesting thing about this is that it's starting to be talked about so openly, and it's really fascinating because, one, it really is a huge credit to the Democrats that they're owning this problem far more than Republicans are. But it also, I think people are also starting to see that there are candidates like Biden, like O'Rourke, like Hickenlooper, like Delaney, like Swalwell, who really feel like day one when they show up to be a candidate that they need to apologize for who and what they are, which that was kind of the point of, that was one of the other main thrusts that everybody has been working toward, is that nobody has to apologize for who and what they are anymore. So it's just a tough situation for the Democrats. And I was amazed, Eric Swalwell jumped right into the election and immediately addressed this problem that he is projecting now is going to be a problem the day they win, right? Like that if any AWM wins, the Democrats have to own that problem that they have perpetuated, right? It's incredible that each AWM that runs, according to Swalwell, has to have a plan for the base nature for who they are. We are living in some very unusual times, and it is a massive change from where we were previously. So Eric Swalwell, I was impressed with how he addressed this, how he talked about it right out of the gate, and I think AWM candidates now have to address this out of the gate because they're going to get this question real quick. It's on the Democrat side, it is a huge issue, right? So it's very, very interesting. So what does Eric Swalwell stand for? Well, one, he does have some policy definition. That's another thing that we're starting to see is there are a lot of candidates. Pete Buttigieg is the poster boy for I got plans. For poster boy for I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but no details, right? So Eric Swalwell is not that candidate. He's got a little bit of definition behind his policies. He's got some plans. By the way, the opposite of Pete Buttigieg is Elizabeth Warren with very defined plans, very willing to talk extreme detail on policy, right? Elizabeth Warren is the opposite of that. So it's really fascinating just to see how all this is shaping up. So what does Eric Swalwell stand for? Well, he stands for pretty much. So I'll give it to you. This is my summary of the stance of Eric Swalwell. Democrat playbook plus one thing, right? Democrat playbook, right? So, Medicare for all or some type of free health care or improved health care. He's for additional money for people who want to go to college. Basically, he's definitely, you could check it off. Pretty much every major Democrat playbook, but he's got one more, and it is fascinating. And he sees it, he identifies this as a distinctor, and it is a distinctor. He is saying that more than any other candidate, he will end school shootings. He will do more. He will focus. He will prioritize ending active shooter situations, school shooter situations, and that he is going to do what he can to bring this to an end. And that's going to come from gun control. So he has as a primary plank within his platform is gun control, right? So how's he going to handle this? Well, he says any type of assault rifle, essentially an AR-15 or anything like that, he's going to buy them back, which is I think it's been used in some European country. I'm pretty sure. Like he said that this is Model F off of like Sweden or some European country like that, where they've done this. They'll buy the weapons back, and then one of the commentators that I heard interview him said specifically, well, what about people who don't want to see, people have already said, you ain't buying nothing from me. You can't even pry it from my cold, dead fingers, right? And he said, what about them? And he's like, well, here's the thing. We're going to buy them back, and if people refuse, then those weapons are going to be kept in sport clubs or hunting clubs near where but essentially he explained there absolutely will not be allowed. There will be no one left with assault rifles in their home. Okay. Now, a lot of people, I understand this. That I've been, I'm supporting gangs, so I'm a registered Democrat, and I understand a lot of Democrats are like, oh, hey, you can't they think, oh, it's just normal that nobody would have assault rifles or like an AR-15 style weapon in their home. But the reality is, there's like people who are pushing open carry in like crazy in Texas, and literally carrying AR-15 in Texas. People carry AR-15s openly, right? Like just right out in public. It's amazing, right? So. And the reason for this is like if you just take a look right over across the ocean, just put yourself right across the Atlantic, and you will see a nation that has a king and a queen. Right now they only have a queen, but they're going to have a king soon, and monarchy. That's why Americans are so they're like, we will never have a king. You will never ever have a king over us ever. And so Americans, by and large, they want tools in their home, so that essentially the entire nation stands as a militia, right? And and so here's the kicker. Eric Swalwell is saying, no, that ain't going to happen. No way. That's ending. The ability for any American to just prop themselves up as a soldier by going downstairs is going to be gone, right? So it's a really fascinating stance. So here's my take on it. I think it would absolutely help with the active shooter situation. But it would absolutely actively make sure that at some point, in my opinion, it would incredibly raise the possibility that we would at one point have a king or queen over America again. That's why Americans care so desperately about the Second Amendment. And in modern times, it's incredibly difficult because we haven't had a king or queen for 300 years. People forget, and it's a boogeyman that they don't even remember exists. Right? But the reality is, it does exist. There are monarchies all over the world, right? And Americans are like, no, never again, man. We are never going back. We are never having royal blood that presides over us. We will not allow it. And so the people themselves are saying, hey, we are fully, independent, and we will remain independent, and we have the tools to make sure we will be independent forever, right? Eric Swalwell saying, nope, done. Like, those days are over. All of the, basically the ability, military-style weapons will remain with the military and no one else, right? Essentially ending the American militia. All right, so I really like Eric Swalwell, right? I like, but not as, okay, I'll tell you why. I love that he is being a distinctor. He is 100% achieving what he declared to achieve, right? He is distinct. This puts him apart. He is not apologizing for saying, I'm going to bring gun control at a level you've never seen, right? I'm going to end American militia hopes. Done. They're finished, right? So that's my take on, that's my summary of what he's saying, right? If you take military style weapons out of American homes, then you set the country up for a situation where a king or a queen can walk in and just say, hey, that's it. Government rule, period. Right now, it's impossible, right? Because so many homes are armed, right? So Eric Swalwell has truly, I love that he is genuine. So many candidates now are saying, I'm distinct. No, you're not. You don't have anything special, right? Eric Swalwell's got something special. This is new. Like this is absolutely new. So let's get to that last question. Eric Swalwell, does he have a chance? Not a chance, not a snowball's chance in the hot place. Not a snowball's chance in the hot place. Okay, so what's the so is there value in Eric Swalwell? Absolutely, there's value in Eric Swalwell. All right, so my vote's with Andrew Yang. I'm ride or die for Andrew Yang at this point, right? As the old rap songs indicated, right? So basically, to me, here's what you get when you look at Eric Swalwell. What is the value in him, right? Well, Trump is a force of nature, man. Like, I've never seen a president like him in the 49 years I've been on this planet. And the reality is, I think a lot of Democrats are starting to think that he's unbeatable. I don't think that. I think Yang could crush him, right? And I think Yang could beat the primary, beat all the people in the primary, and then beat Trump in the election, in the general. But there's a growing number of Democrats, in my opinion, who are really, really worried about any Democrat beating Trump. And that is a very, very legit fear, right? Trump is a political beast, man. He is going to be a wrecking ball. He decimated Hillary in 2016, and he is going to be way harder to beat in 2020. So with Eric Swalwell, the value that I think some Democrats could identify him with is, let's know that we're going to lose the election and then use this entire election period as a platform for a message, right? Now, I 100% disagree with this. I don't think if Eric Swalwell runs and he's saying, I'm running as a gun control candidate, you've lost, period. Like, you're not going to get a single person in this country who eats cheeseburgers and drives a Ford F-150. And if you can't do that, if you can't bring 5, 10, 15, 20% of them over, you're done. You lose, period. Hillary already proved this. Right? So that's the issue is Eric Swalwell doesn't have a snowball's chance in the hot place to win this election. Absolutely none. However, this is an incredibly important issue. And frankly, Eric Swalwell is the only one to really make it a priority. He's the only candidate to make it a priority. Now, one of the reasons for that is this topic is a third rail, man. It will electrocute you, right? So a lot of people, I was concerned to even talk about this, right? And so, and I have proceeded with, in my opinion, very careful, with caution, right? And I, as always, I try to tackle tough subjects. And if I don't do it with all the respect that's due, please let me know in the comments below. And I'm always trying to, to shape my view so it's fair, so that it's kind, so that it's genuine, right? And so if there's anything here that I'm missing, let me know in the comments. I would appreciate that. But the reality is, Eric Swalwell with this plank platform, and the reality is, every politician in the world knows you can't win on this issue. You absolutely cannot win on this issue, and the reality is, the reason why is people who eat cheeseburgers and drive Ford F-150s, and there's a lot of them. They never allowing a king in this nation ever again. And if you step forward and you go, I'm going to make it so that you can't defend every corner of this nation, there's no way you can win. So I don't think you can count Eric Swalwell out. If there is enough Democrats as a party get to choose what they want to do, and they can go, you know what? It's all she wrote. Nobody's going to be able to beat Trump. Let's get a message out. Then there'd be value in Eric Swalwell. I think there would be value in Eric Swalwell's running if the Democrats as a people, if the Democrats as a whole, not as a party, but if they said, you know what, this active shooter situation showing up every week, every month, it's too much. We want to get a message out there and just like till the soil to grow seeds that could one day lead to actual gun control in America. The Democrats as a people have the right to choose that, right? And I think, and Eric Swalwell offers them an opportunity to have a message talked about for 16 months. I think that's the only value in Eric Swalwell as a candidate. That's it, because he's got a snowball's chance in a hot place of winning anything. That's my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.